Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Rashad from RashadBeats.com. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing another review. But this time we're not doing it like an album. We're not doing an album review or a mixtape review. We're doing it different this time. We're going to do a track list review. So with this track listing review, I'm pretty much going to go through the details of most of these tracks and explain, how I feel about most of them, how I feel about the sound and whatever the artist, I'm saying, and the artist who's performing them. Um, it's gonna be quite different. It's kind of like just me going track by track of how much I enjoyed, how much I enjoyed the selected tracks. So that's what we're doing today, and let's jump right into it. Today's artist of the hour is Leonardo Aristotle. He is a Albany, New York native. His style is very intricate, very smoky, very smooth. He has like this very smoothness to him, but he still has like this hardcore lyrical perspective, and his flows and his cadence is very just dynamic and very nice. It's just very nice to hear. His tracks are really good to hear. We're going to be going through a couple of tracks that he wanted me to review, so let's go right straight to it, man. Pretty much I want to talk a little bit more about the artist before we get into the tracks. So Leonardo Aristotle has this crazy mysteriousness about him. Like, I looked him up, I couldn't find him anywhere but YouTube. You know what I'm saying? The dude reached out to me, so and I had like this impression that like 36 followers, he must be some up and coming artist who don't really, he just started. You know what I'm saying? I honestly thought he just started because I couldn't really tell. Um, and he wanted a review, so I was like, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Let me check your music out. So I didn't have an expectancy of how good his music would be. I sat down and I listened, and it blew me away. And I was like, okay, this is weird. Yeah, it felt weird, but the way that his promotion is being handled, dude, is very mysterious. Like, I feel like his whole team and his whole promotion scheme is just to be mysterious, and it's working. It's working perfectly fine. I told him to keep it up. But anyway, jump right back into the tracks. I'm sorry, I just had to explain a little bit more about the way his marketing is set up for himself as an artist. Really dope. Yeah, first track that we're gonna be talking about. Let's talk about Blueberry Bourbon. This track is very dope. I enjoy the lyricism in it. I feel like one of the biggest problems with me on this track really was just the mixing of the vocals. The vocals were very dry on this one, and the lyricism on this joint was on point. The flow, the switch, the beats. I love the beats that he picks. The beat on this one was very just smooth, and it was just also just grimy and trap like. So it was just like, yeah, you gotta dig it. It has like this swag to it that just makes you feel good. You know what I'm saying? It has like this very smooth but catchy type of vibe to it. So Blueberry Bourbon was really a dope. It was a dope track. Um, One thing I definitely enjoyed about it was his lyricism on this one. His lyricism really stuck out because I felt like his flow just forces you to listen. The way he goes fast and he switches, and his cadence is just very on top. So yeah, that track was really dope. That was Blueberry Bourbon. All right, so next track, let's talk about Accidentally on Purpose. That's the next track. This track is probably is my favorite. This is probably one of my favorite tracks out of all 8. Well, not really my favorite, but if this was in the top 10, top 2, this gotta be like number 2 or 1. And this track, and this was really the first track that I heard when he told me to check him out. It starts off very slow, and you just hear the beat just winding up, and then it just hits you. As soon as it hits you, the beat is very dreamy, trap like, and you just feel the melody, and you just hear him kill. You just hear him like just killing that joint. Like his lyrics, his versatility on this track is really dope. Stuck out so good because um when he was flowing on the beat is very overpowering. So you got to really like finesse it to really just make sure the beat doesn't kill you. You know what I'm saying? The beat was really dope. So that track was dope. I enjoyed it a lot. I felt like there was nothing that you could really do to that track to make it better. I feel like that track was sick. I wouldn't even touch it. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I would just fix the vocals because the vocals are very dry. And what I noticed in most of his songs, his vocals are dry. And most of these songs, anyway, his vocals are very dry. Like they're not touched or mixed, which isn't bad, but it kind of throws off the entire feeling. But we'll talk about that later on. Let's keep going down these tracks. So that was Accidentally on Purpose. That's track 2. Probably one of my favorite tracks. Let's talk about Woke Up Dreaming. Woke Up Dreaming is the next track. Woke Up Dreaming is pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I felt like it was pretty standard for Leonardo's um, style. It's pretty standard, you know what I'm saying? Like just what you would expect, very expected. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to it, and it was cool. It had a nice little vibe to it. I liked the little skit in the beginning where he had people cheering on for him, and he was acting like he was bringing himself out. He said, "Put your hands together for Leonardo Aristotle. He's coming out right now. Put your hands together. Let him." You know, it was kind of I can't remember exactly what the skit said, but it was dope how he had a skit on there. Like he likes putting skits on certain songs. And as I go down, I'll talk about the skits too. You know, it was cool. I definitely one of my least favorites though. I didn't really enjoy it as such as the other tracks. I felt like this one was still a good track, but it just didn't hit as hard as the other ones that I enjoyed so far. You know what I'm saying? As far as this one was going, I feel like this one was just like accidentally on purpose, but without the hardcore beat and without the really just persistent cadence, you know, expecting, you know, another type of version of, you know, accidentally on purpose. Because, like, when I first heard that song, it just blew my expectancy to the roof. I was like, yo, this dude got some crazy fire. I can't wait to hear more. Woke Up Dreaming was a pretty good track. I didn't really enjoy it as much as the other tracks, but it's still a good track. You definitely check that one out. Very smooth. The beat was definitely dope. His lyrics and flow on this one are pretty expected of him. You know, this was a very expected track. That's one of the biggest things with this track. It's very expected. And that's pretty much it for that track. Now the next track we're talking about the Crabs. Um, Now this track, I feel like this track was really the peak of Leonardo's lyricism. I felt like this track was just very cutting edge. He was just going in the entire time, and the beat would change up, the beat would switch up, and he'll still keep going using that same flow and cadence, but he'll slow it down on the tempo of the beat, so it'll still just be like, damn, he just won't let go. I feel like this is one of the best tracks for his lyrical ability because the beat was very hard, trappish, very simple to ride on, and it was just like gave you this feel where you just had no choice but to bop your head. So I feel like he brought like that New York type of style, but mixed it with the sounds of electronic and trap. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like he mixed all of those sounds and it came all together on Mr. Krabs. Because I feel like when he was spitting on this one, it just had me nodding my head, especially with the beat, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it was just very the experience behind the just listening to it was really dope. Like it just felt like, yeah, I'm just watching this dude spit bars. You know what I'm saying? He had really good bars on this one. This track was just a good show of lyrical ability and lyrical versatility and cadence and flows. This is definitely a good experience. It was definitely a good way to show that, yeah, I can do chill stuff and, you know, I can lay back with the bars, but I can also go super hard on tracks like this as well. You know, kind of makes the beat his own. And that's what I really like about him. He makes the beat his own. So that was Mr. Krabs. Now let's talk about Shark Bait. Now this is my favorite. My favorite track. This is my favorite. Shark Bait has this dope trap, very schoolboy Q-ish type of sound where it's just the beat is clicking, boom, boom, ta, with the snare, boom, boom, ta, and it's just like the chorus is so dope. You get addicted to the chorus as soon as it jumps on, and it was just it was dope. Like I can't really, there's really nothing I can say about that track to badmouth it. Like the track was sick. You know, I was just like, oh, I was just sitting here, you know, bobbing my head, and it's seriously dope. I couldn't get over it. You know what I'm saying? I had to listen to it twice. It had great replay value. I had to listen to it like just 3 times. Like it was very dope. And then when he comes to the switch up, the beat turns completely different, and he still throws the hook on it, the same hook from the first transition of the beat, and it still rides. And then after that transition is over with the beat changing up, it goes back to the regular beat, and it just brings you right back to that grimy, that grimy, just, you know, that beat just snapping in your face, and you know, it brings you back to that first transition. So kind of like make sure you're not getting bored. Even though I feel like even if he didn't have the transition in there, people would still be bobbing their head down throughout the entire track. I know I would. You know what I'm saying? That track was seriously dope. I enjoyed it. Shark Bait, definitely one of my favorite ones. That beat is hard. I didn't look at the producer name. I kind of feel bad, but you can definitely check it out for yourself and find out who produced it. You know what I'm saying? This is just me doing this specifically for the artist. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure the whole thing is covered. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that was Shark Bait. Definitely Shark Bait is my favorite song of this entire list. I really love that track. And I definitely want to hear more tracks like that in the future. With that same type of that same type of feeling. Not really the same type of beat and flow and whatever, but just provide that same experience. Next track, we were talking about Medical Cocaine featuring Megan Rice. When I first heard this track, I'm just listening to it. It already caught my attention with the beginning. And then I forgot if there was a skit in front of it, but he throws skits in this one a lot to kind of like pretty much put him in the shoes of a dude who is taking a girl out. The girl got no shirt on. She's out there in the winter, and he's just like upset with her. But it seems like he doesn't want to leave her. You know what I'm saying? Like it seems like he has a really good connection with her, but he just don't know how to show it. It's dope. But aside from the skits, the music on this was crazy. The lyrics, the flow, the beat. It sounded like the car. It sounded like the beat sounds like when you open up your car door, you hear the ding, ding, ding. I feel like that sound was implemented into that beat. It sounded like that. I kept thinking of the car door opening. You know what I'm saying? He in the skits, he was in a car talking to the female, telling her how crazy she was being outside with no coat and giving her the hoodie and stuff. It was dope. In the beginning, it was just very just nonstop, just nonstop lyrics. The cadence on this track was really amazing. I feel like the cadence on this track was just handled properly, and I feel like just him rapping on this joint was just the icing on the cake. However, I don't like how his vocals don't sound mixed. Compared to Megan Rice's vocals, she's the singer that comes on the second transition of the track. Her vocals are mixed. You can tell there's effects on her vocals. But on his vocals, it's dry. I'm going to talk about that towards the end of why I don't really enjoy it that way, because it kills the whole experience for me. He's just killing it. He got a nice little flow going on. The beat is just rocking. The beat is smooth and relaxed. And then on the second transition, you get Megan Rice doing her part, and she's killing it. Her words are cutting through me. Like the beat changes a little bit, and it provides like this amazing body of smokiness, this amazing body of ambience. It's very dope. The Weeknd, it's very Weeknd-esque, very Weeknd-esque. I think in this track, what really stood out the most in this track was the skits that he put on here, because he puts a lot of skits in his tracks. But on this one, I feel like the skits really made sense for me. I'm not saying that in the other tracks they didn't make sense, but it made a lot more sense comparing to the other concepts, the other songs. This one made a whole lot of sense. It tied the whole storyline together, you know what I'm saying? It was really dope to listen to. I feel like the experience that it provided when you listen to it, it wouldn't die. But the problem with me with this track was the mixing. The mixing kind of killed. There wasn't no mixing on his vocals. That's why I felt like it didn't really stick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to listen to it. I love it. I want to love it a lot more, but I can't, because I feel like the mixing is holding it back. Whoever engineered them didn't really put no focus on his effects. They probably it sounded like they leveled and EQ'd it, but it just, me as an engineer and producer, I could tell there's no effects on it because his vocals are dry, like he just pre-mixed. And that's completely cool. I still feel like the track was still dope, but there just needs to be mixing in it to really feel that whole presence. Because Megan Rice, you could tell her vocals were easily mixed. You could tell. So that was Medical Cocaine. And Jump On, we're going to talk about Jump On. I like Jump On. I like the beat on it. It was very paced. I like the beat on it. This is probably one of my least favorites though. I feel like this one had a lot of bounce to it. But I think what really killed the presence for me for this one was just his not the vocal recording, but just the vocals being dry. Like the vocals were very dry, and I couldn't really get into it the way I would like to. But it still had this really dope vibe to it, and this song was just pretty dope. I enjoyed it. It was very smooth and laid back. And, the beat was just knocking. I'm over here bobbing my head because I'm thinking about the track right now. I'm over here bobbing my head. You know what I'm saying? It was dope, but this is definitely one of my least favorites. I didn't really enjoy it as much as the other tracks because I feel like if he had his vocals mixed, this probably would have been my top 5 for this track. Even though I didn't really have top 5, I had a top 2. But, however, I feel like on Jump On, I feel like there needs to be a lot more mixing on his vocals just to kind of blend in with the beat, because the beat was kind of overpowering his vocals a little bit, even though he has this thing with his style where he can kill any beat. I feel like he kill any beat because these beats are very different and ambient and abstract. He can kill any beat if you want, but this beat necessarily just kind of cuts it. It kind of cuts his vocals off because he doesn't have a specific amount of color in the spectrum to even fit sounds. You feel me? In the sound frequency of the entire track. So not really fighting his way through the track, but it's just like you're listening to the beat and then you're listening to his words. You want to be able to listen to both of them without really having to focus on one or other. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the problems I had with this track. I mean, I didn't really enjoy the vocal mixing of this track, but the track was still good. I enjoyed it. Definitely a good track to listen to. Last track, Comfort Zone. Comfort Zone is a dope track. I feel like this one has a very R&B esque to it, and I like how he started off with harmonizing a little bit, even though it was all key. It still sounded pretty dope. You know what I'm saying? Like it just had like this little flow to it. In the beginning of it, it was just like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, you warming up, and then it drops it in, and he just kills it. He's using his I know he was gonna throw his bars on it. He's just killing it. You know what I'm saying? He's he has like this thing where it's just like, yeah, he can he can just go off of anything, and his flow is just really impeccable. Switch it up, he can switch it up on any tempo. It's really dope. But for Comfort Zone specifically, I didn't like this track as much either. Is because of the mixing, man. The mixing on the vocal on this one, on his vocals, it wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? It was just dry. So it was just like there. You feel what I'm saying? Like I don't like that because the experience of this track was really dope. Him being the artist on this track and him actually saying something and killing it with the dope beat. The beat is dope. It has like this sample that comes in. It's sick. But I feel like I can't really get into it because of the way his vocals is not mixed. You feel me? So on Comfort Zone, I just feel like that was the reason why I couldn't really get into that one as much. But Comfort Zone is still a good song to listen to. Got this R&B type of beat produced by was it but yeah, it has. But yeah, Comfort Zone is really dope. Has this very smoky instrumental, very melodic, very classic with these samples. Those samples in there all the time, and then it just has this feeling where it gives you this sexual type of presence. Like I feel like that's one of a good specialty for him. He likes to use a lot of sexual wordplay in some of his songs. You know what I'm saying? So it just feels like it fits perfectly, especially with Comfort Zone. Comfort Zone definitely had that dope ass vibe to it, and it just made you feel alright. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a really good track. But what killed it for me, not really killed the whole vibe for it, but it killed the experience that I wanted to experience from it, was just the vocal mixing. You know what I'm saying? His vocals didn't have anything on it, so it just felt like I'm listening to something that that's just there. I don't like when it happens because it just doesn't sound, it doesn't make me feel good about the track anymore. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, it's still a good song. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up all the 8 tracks from Leonardo Aristotle. You can check out his music in the description below. I'll make sure I leave all links so you can connect with him. Be sure to get up with him because this dude disappears. And I don't know if he's coming back, but he just disappears and he'll come back, whatever. Dude is very mysterious, but you'll learn to love him and his music. Final decision about this, I feel like if he keeps this type of marketing up, it can definitely blow up in a perspective where people can find out who he is instantly, and it'll be put on a better platform. And it seems like it's working so far. But however, if you don't keep marketing up where you're mysterious and nobody knows who you are, if you don't keep it up, there's like a curse. I feel like if you don't do that, people will fall off on becoming your fan and fall off on you in general. You know what I'm saying? They won't even pay attention because you don't have nowhere to connect from. I feel like he has a really great voice. The mixing needs the mixing. There's really no mixing on the track, so I feel like he needs to work on that as much. Most of these tracks were unmixed. It seemed like I could tell they're not though, because I could tell they're not mixed because they're very dry. Regardless, they still sounded good. You know what I'm saying? Usually when I hear an unmixed track, I turn it off, but I couldn't turn this one off. It was really dope. However, I feel like once he gets to a spot where he is dropping consistent music and he's killing it, he's just dropping more music like this and with more feelings and stuff, I feel like this dude is bound to blow. He has that star power. He has the potential to really get up there in no time. Music shows and proves it. You know what I'm saying? Even with unmixed vocals, you can just feel it. You can feel his music. Cuts right through you. It's dope. It's really dope. But I feel like if he doesn't keep up this marketing, it's gonna kind of just drag him. You know, it's gonna drag him back a little bit. Then he'll have to start from scratch and figure out something different. But I know for a fact that he'll figure something out. The dude is very about his business. I really appreciate that about him. Really, really good dude to talk to. I have conversations with him all the time. But yeah, man. So if this was like a real EP or LP, whatever, if this was a mixtape or album, I definitely would have rated this a 8 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? But I know if this was like an album or a mixtape, he'll have the vocals mixed. You feel what I'm saying? Without no question. But regardless, you know what I'm saying? The experience that these songs offered were really dope. I appreciated it because like it was so sick. I was like, I wasn't expecting so much. So when I heard the first track, which was accidentally on purpose, I almost lost my mind. I was like, yo, this dude is nice. Yeah, man. That's all that I gotta talk about today for this review, man. Be sure to link up with Leonardo Aristotle. Got his Twitter link and his music below. Connect with him, man. Connect with him ASAP because he might disappear again and you might not see him ever again. You might just be seeing his music, but you won't talk to him in person. So, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go ahead and like this video. Let me know what y'all think of his music in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And that's pretty much it, man. Rashad Beats out. Leonardo Aristotle. Forever. Peace.